Hey, what's up guys, this is KDCloudy. Welcome to the first ever video of 2025. I'm very excited for this year and it seems like we're talking about Mumbai IMAXs back to back, and that's because today we're hitting rewind and talking about the first ever IMAX of India. A place which has gone through many names but today is known as Miraj Cinemas IMAX in Wadala, Mumbai. A bunch of you guys in the comment sections were repeatedly asking me to make a video on this place, and let me tell you, I was extremely excited to visit this place and watch a movie over here in my recent trip to Mumbai, because the last time I was here, it was under Carnival Cinemas. The place was in a pretty bad shape and I couldn't go in. And back in December of 2023, I made a full video on the history of this coveted cinema, how it changed hands from Adlabs, big cinemas, Carnival, and it shut down. But the good news is, in 2024, Miraj Cinemas acquired the rights to this place and gave it a full makeover and brought this iconic IMAX back to a new glory. Now when you enter the building, there's nothing else but the atrium and the multi-storied lobby to the theatre. Miraj has done a beautiful renovation here with a very royal aesthetic, with LED walls everywhere, like big IMAX signages, and a little grunge with the brown and amber tones. It feels very iconic and brand new at the same time. And this layout and the atrium and the tinted windows and basically the vibe of this place kind of reminded me of Prasad's multiplex in Hyderabad. The design language is very, very refreshing to experience if you've been to a lot of PVR or INOX cinemas, and it feels like a welcome change. And if you compare the old pictures of this place to the current ones, you can see the staggering facelift. Now the first floor houses the standard 4K auditoriums, which are decently big from what I hear, and one of them also has the Max audio system from Barco, which is pretty nifty, and the concession areas which only serve vegetarian food. And do you see those glass walls all the way at the back? Well, behind those glass walls sits the OG 1570 IMAX projector, which used to run the show back in the early 2000s when it was a dome structure. It's amazing to see that, and we'll get back to this guy in a bit. Now, getting to the IMAX auditorium is a hike to the third floor, and once you get there, you also get that big bold IMAX signage, more concession stands, and this door through which you can enter into the biggest IMAX commercial screen in the country right now. Now, the moment I stepped in that theater, my first impressions, wow, absolutely blown away. Like the sheer sense of grandness and like the scale, I mean, very few theaters have given that reaction out of me, like PVR Logic's Noida IMAX, and then the Palazzo IMAX in Chennai, the PVR Priya PXL when the first time I visited there in 2022, and also most recently Prasad's PCX Auditorium, which is again the biggest screen in the country. So Wadala IMAX got that reaction out of me, and rightfully so. Now, getting onto the specs of this theatre, it boasts a screen which is approximately 72 feet wide and 41 feet tall at a 1.9:1 aspect ratio, 341 seats, IMAX's latest XT laser projection system, and their 5-channel audio system. Now, just by that 72 feet metric alone, this becomes the biggest commercial IMAX of India, beating out Logic Small IMAX and PVR Palazzo IMAX like by 1.5-2 feet. Now, there will be two reactions to this. The first reaction is that, okay, this is the biggest screen in the country, all the other IMAXs are bad. Now, just because this particular IMAX exists doesn't mean that the Logic's IMAX or the Palazzo IMAX are bad. They do need projection upgrades, but I think they're great theaters. They're very iconic theaters. I should go to them. And for the people who say that 72 feet is not big enough, well, I'll be honest, on paper it isn't, but in person, it's huge. Like, I'll try my best to show how big it feels on video, but man, you have to step inside this auditorium. This is a huge auditorium, unlike any other I've seen, because it used to be a dome theater and you can see those remnants of the old dome structure covered up. You know, the biggest possible area in the front has been dedicated to the new flat screen in the conversion process. And if we go back to the original IMAX spec published in 1983's SMPT journal, this diagram of the Omnimax dome, that's what it was called back then, is exactly the same of how Wadala IMAX still is to this date. The main characteristics of this being the extremely steep seating gallery. And because of that steeply raked stadium seating, just because the way it is built, all the seats are closer to the screen and the field of view is just insane. And that's how, with clever architecture and clever geometry, you can make a 70 feet wide screen feel like as if it's 100 foot wide. Now, while we're at it, let's talk about the seating geometry, because interestingly, this place only has 341 seats. It's not that densely packed as it used to be, because it's now making room for the recliners and the sofas. There's sofas all the way at the back, there is loungers and recliners in the front, and regular seats in between. Now, between the sofa and the regular seats, there is a doghouse projection booth which used to light up the Dome Theatre ceiling in the old days. And this particular area, I feel, is like the best seats in the house, gives you the best possible field of view. Now, if you do choose to go back and book some sofa seats because you had a tiring week, they also give you a pretty decent field of view, pretty comparable to the last row of PVR Priya and PVR Logix IMAX. Now, the screen is powered by IMAX Laser XT, and the movie I watched over here was Mufasa in 3D for the third time. Oh man, it's like... But with this movie, I have covered all the three IMAX projection formats: Xenon, Commercial Laser, and Laser XT. And by far, I would say IMAX Wadala has been the most immersive experience for this particular movie. And you know, laser on a big screen just hits different, man. And I was just imagining how good a proper film for IMAX title would look in this particular screen, which is going for like full screen, no screen door effect, just pure laser crispiness. Now, if I had to nitpick just a little bit, I would say that my Mufasa presentation in Select City Walk Delhi, which is commercial laser, had slightly better colors and a little bit more contrast from what I remember. Don't take that as a negative. I think sharpness wise, I think Laser XT and commercial laser are the same. And don't let that hold you back from booking a ticket in this particular theater. Now, sound wise, this particular theater is rocking the 5-channel audio setup from IMAX with this latest speakers hanging up from the back corners. Pretty much new, nothing is reused from the old Carnival setup. But here it sounded okay. And while I'm pretty sure it's the sound mix to be blamed, because my friends who watched other movies in this theater, they assured me that IMAX Wadala sounds very, very good. I do think that adding that 12-channel audio system would have made this the perfect IMAX venue on spec. But yeah, let's see. Maybe that's what the future holds. And that was it. That was my experience at Miraj IMAX Wadala. It was frankly amazing to step foot in that place where I have read so many stories about it. A lot of research made that history video of the lost years of India, and it was amazing. And again, yeah, coming back to the 1570 IMAX projector, I went in the old projection booth and saw that projector up close, which is a slightly different version from what is there at Prasad's or the Gujarat Science City. This one has rails mounted on it, so it lifts up to the doghouse of the theater and then projects it. So yeah, fun fact. This projector was last fired up in 2018 for a very special screening of Dunkirk in 70mm with Christopher Nolan in attendance. And since then, it has been decommissioned. But either way, it was very, very cool to check out this piece of history. So yeah, overall thoughts, Miraj IMAX is arguably one of the best IMAX venues in the country right now. For me personally, the IMAX experience is about immersiveness. And that immersiveness can come either through scale or fidelity of the image. And Wadala IMAX does both. And along with that, carries the heritage of being the first ever IMAX of India, which has beautifully stood the test of time. So yeah, that was it. Hopefully this video was helpful for you if you booked tickets for Interstellar and were wondering how this particular theater is. And either way, if you happen to be in Mumbai or if you want to travel from another city to get an IMAX experience for the first time, I think this is it. This won't disappoint you. You'll absolutely love it. I would also like to take a moment and thank the passionate management team and staff at Miraj Cinemas who watched my videos and kindly let me film inside the auditorium and also inside the projection booth. So the next time you decide to watch a movie, please do support this chain. And till next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.